Well, hello, ladies and gents. Robert Sykes, KetoSavage.com, and I've got another A.M.A. for you today. This one is all about using the ketogenic diet as a lifestyle as opposed to just a short-term intervention. But before we dive into that, let's roll the intro. And we're back. This one is brought to us by Jessica, and Jessica asks, what are the long-term benefits of continuing the ketogenic diet as a lifestyle versus using the diet for a few months to cut a few pounds or for a special event? And any other solid information can I give to individuals who just want to use the diet for a quick weight loss, just to go back to a carb-based diet after they've reached a goal? All right, so I get this question a lot. Let's roll the curtain back and dive deep here. So when it comes to any dietary protocol, whether that is keto, flexible dieting, if it fits your macros, paleo, carnivore, any of that, the main thing is all about adherence and sustainability. So what can you do from an adherence standpoint? What can you do from a sustainability standpoint to make sure that you are strict and disciplined and on top of it? Because that is absolutely paramount. I mean, people can lose weight on any type of diet, but their ability to do so is going to be significantly enhanced if they're able to adhere to that protocol. So I always encourage people to look at the ketogenic diet, for instance, through the lens of it being more of a lifestyle than just a diet in the first place. However, a lot of people look to keto, and it's oftentimes marketed to people that are looking for a quick loss of a few pounds, because when you first switch over to keto from a carb-dependent approach, you're going to flush that glycogen, you're going to flush that water weight, and you'll likely lose a few pounds right off the bat. That's a quick win that a lot of people can, stick a feather in their hat and feel good about, especially if they're trying to look, lighter for a quick photo shoot or a wedding or something like that. The problem is, as soon as that event is over, they go back to what they were doing previously, and they're oftentimes going to go back with even more intensity towards eating the wrong foods because they feel like they've been deprived for that short-term interim in which they were following the diet to begin with. So from a psychological standpoint alone, it's oftentimes going to result in a yo-yo approach to what they're going to do, and they're oftentimes going to backfire and have more negative repercussions than if they had just stuck to what they were doing to begin with, through and through. So I would definitely say that. Now, when it comes to the keto diet specifically, you're not going to really tap into a lot of the benefits until you've become truly fat adapted. And fat adapted does not mean just simply producing blood ketones, but significantly being adapted, which oftentimes takes months and even years to truly get adapted. That's when your body becomes incredibly efficient at using fat as the primary fuel source and driver for your day-to-day energy. That's when you're going to really get the benefits from the anti-inflammatory effects of the diets, from the joint pain will likely dissipate significantly. You're going to have more mental acuity. You're going to have more satiety throughout the day. You're not going to have to be a slave to food and eat every few hours. And a lot of those benefits come after you've been adapted for quite some time. And if you go into it thinking that this is a diet that you're going to have to stick to, religiously in order to see the benefits, and it's just something that you're trying to do short term in order to get back to your carb-dependent self, then you're probably not going to be able to have the adherence necessary to truly tap into the full potential that keto can provide. So from a biological standpoint, from a physiological standpoint, and from a psychological standpoint, I recommend people have a lifestyle-like approach to whatever diet they're following, whether it's keto or not. When it comes to, a longevity standpoint and really just being better for the long haul, keto doesn't really get a whole lot of attention in that regard because it's marketed, like I said earlier, towards the people that are wanting to lose a few pounds in the short term. However, when you look at it from the long-term perspective, that's what really gets me excited about keto, because I can maintain it indefinitely, I can adhere to it. I've been keto strictly for 6 years now, and I'm left wanting nothing more. Your palate changes, your cravings change, your desires for certain foods change, and that makes a diet much more sustainable to begin with. And especially now with all the keto alternatives that are out there on the market, I mean, you could literally have a ketogenic substitute for any food that you've ever had your entire life. So that's a plus. It makes it much easier to adhere to. But what gets me excited about keto for the long term is how my body and my mind are much more likely going to be fine-tuned as I age. I mean, I'm going to be turning 30 this year. I'm excited about what being strictly keto for the next 45 years is going to put me at. So 45, 55, 65, 75, I'll be 75 years old, and I'll be looking and feeling better than I ever had before. Well, I don't know if I look better at 75 than I do now, almost 30, but I'll be looking pretty damn good. And I think that's going to be because of my intentions and my actions of keeping a strict ketogenic protocol throughout the majority of my lifespan, which is in turn is going to improve my health span. If you look at the research coming out from Alzheimer's, dementia, diabetes, cancer, like those are oftentimes mitigated in large part by diet intervention, specifically the ketogenic diet. And I feel like if your foundational life is built on that type of diet from the beginning, then your likeliness to need a significant medical intervention later in life is significantly declined. So I feel like if you present the idea of keto as a lifestyle that's going to improve people's later years significantly beyond what they would experience following a traditional carb-based approach, especially all the heavily processed carbs that are out there in abundance nowadays, that should be pretty motivating to them in itself. So yeah, to sum up, I've kind of got it long-winded here, but from a biological and physiological standpoint, most of the benefits for the ketogenic diet are going to come into play after you've been adapted for quite some time. From a psychological standpoint, being excited about it from a lifestyle standpoint and wanting to adhere to it for the long haul helps tremendously. And in order to kind of grasp that psychological switch, presenting it in a way that illustrates that your quality of life and your health is going to be significantly improved in your later years makes a lot of sense to me. So hopefully that answered your question, Jessica. Thank you for the question. And you requested some toasted almond coconut bricks. We've got some of those headed your way. Thanks again. For anybody that wants to submit a question in the AMA, if I use your question, you get a chance to win some free bricks. The link to submitting a question is in the description below, and I will see you next time.